Welcome back, everybody, to Pulpit to the Pew. We got a special episode here for you. I am Brother Sean Brumfield. I'm the host of this show here. And then we've got Brother Jonathan Mitchell.
How's it going, everyone?
Brother Ryan Brown.
Hey, everybody.
And our special guest today, Brother Jason Hoskins.
How's it going, everybody? All
right, guys. So this is a little different than what we normally do. We're just here to help Brother Jason get a sponsor. His Men of Faith. We're trying to get a deep dive in and get an understanding of it and a greater appreciation for it.
Yeah, so we're coming up to the new year, and the new year starts something for a lot of men in this area. Some men don't know about it yet. Others are learning. It's growing every year, which I think is a wonderful thing. But Men of Faith goes live for registration. Brother Jason can go into all of that. And we wanted to kind of do an interview with what his vision was, how it got started. But I can say, as a pastor, I've talked to several people, and you can even look in the grand scheme of things. But the one thing that's consistently brought up to me, and it's something each year that we try to do a little bit more of, is there's not a whole lot of things for the brothers to do together. And you have ladies' retreats all over the place. From, this year, our ladies went to Branson, Missouri. They've got ladies' retreats all over the place. They can go to at our church once a month. As long as there's nothing that happens, the ladies get together and they do stuff at the church, whether it be play games, eat food, go to a special activity, whatever the case may be. It seems like they're constantly doing that once a month. But when you get down to the brothers of the church, sometimes things get started and then it kind of just dies out. You kind of see it once or twice and then it kind of it dies out. The sad thing about it is we're seeing a day in today's day where men and masculinity is under attack. And not just that, but we're also seeing in the churches, I can't speak for every church, but I can say I've seen a lot. I've been in the area. I've been in church just about my whole life. And you see that strong male presence, the brothers. You see that where you can say that there's some issues there. We need more men of faith, and we need more things. And as a man, we have a tendency to kind of draw within, kind of go to our own self, kind of just
seclude ourselves.
Yeah. So I can truly see where in this day we need stuff like the Men of Faith, like the things that we have, which I know Brother Jason. So Brother Jason, if you don't mind, kind of give us an idea of how you got it started and all of that.
Well, it kind of started, me and my cousin, Phil Hoskins, we had went out to eat on a day. His wife, Sister Bethany, was going to a ladies' retreat with Sister Lavina. And so Phil called me and he said, "Hey, do you want to go out to eat?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Bethany's going to a ladies' retreat." And we kind of joked with Bethany. Anybody that knows me and knows Phil, we like to joke around. We can be serious, but we also, we're me and Phil as cousins. We're actually second cousins, but we're more like brothers.
Yeah.
And he's 14 days younger than me, so we've grown up together. And I asked him, I said, "What do you reckon they do at those ladies' retreats?" And he said, they probably just sit around and make each other cry. We was really just trying to poke at Sister Bethany a little bit. And I said, maybe we ought to have a men's retreat and see if we can make each other cry. And, just trying lighthearted fun, poking. But we went out to eat and we got to talking and we was like, there's really nothing like that around here. There's mm-hmm. ladies' retreats everywhere. They was having them at every church about it at the time. Spalding Road had one. All the churches around here was having them.
Right.
And so what we did was we said, we'll try to work and put one together. Well, right around that time, Phil and Bethany had Avery, and it took a couple of years to get Avery stabilized.
Yeah.
And Phil's mom at the same time was diagnosed with cancer. And, it was a couple year battle for her. So it was about 2 years, close to 2 years before we ever even worked on it. But when things kind of stabilized, we got together and got to talking about it. And our first one, we had Brother Israel Choa, and we had Brother Jerry Pascarella, and we had it here at Spalding. We had it at Spalding, and is a 1 day thing, and we just bought a few prizes, nothing big, nothing, just a couple few door prizes, and we had like 25 people, I think, the very first one. And everybody seemed to enjoy it. Brother Israel preached great. Brother Jerry preached great. And, men got help. So we decided we'll do it again next year.
Yeah.
And the second year we did it, we had Brother George Davis come up, Jr. And Brother George Davis, Jr. Brother George Davis, Sr. Was always special to me and Phil both.
Yeah.
As young people, when he would come to Spalding, Brother George Davis Sr. just had a way of making you feel like you was something.
Yeah, he was a good man.
And Brother George Jr., same way.
Yeah.
And we had Brother Davis come, and so we had found out about Men's Advance. We had a friend went to Men's Advance, and he called us, told us, he said, "Man, I went to this place called Men's Advance." Tim Webb, Brother Tim Webb had told him about it. He went, and he said, I paid, I forget what it cost at the time, but he said, I want a $40 fishing rod. I ate good food, heard great preaching, had a great time. He said, "You guys need to go next year." So we got a bus together, a group of men together, and we told, there was a man that was with us that a guy in our church, his dad just hadn't been long before, had passed away, and Brother Mark Evans. And he had a brother named Perry. And Perry was pretty much turned into a hermit. He'd went to Southern Ohio and had went to a cabin and it just kind of stayed to himself. Mm-hmm. And Brother Mark called him and said, "Hey, we're going to this men's meeting and we're going to shoot guns." And Perry was like, "Hey, that sounds cool." And he's like, "Come go with us." And Perry was like, "Yeah, I may do that." Well, he ended up coming. And we rode the bus down, had a good time riding the bus down and everything, and Perry ended up praying at that men's meeting down at Men's Advance. Wow. So when we got back to the bus, our guy said, "We need to do ours just like they're doing theirs." Well, we was doing a 1 day thing. They was doing a Friday, Saturday, and had thousands of dollars worth of prizes. I mean, it was,
yeah.
Everything Men's Advance did, we patterned Men of Faith after them. And I'm super thankful for Brother Webb, Brother Israel Sanders. I would call them and ask them questions. They was always so great to give advice, tell us how they was doing things and stuff. And I really appreciate those great men, helping us get along. But we put Men of Faith together. I think they usually have theirs like in March, maybe, if I remember right. Yeah. So we had from March to September to put it together. And we did it. It was painful. I'm not going to lie. It was rough the first year. But we hit the first year we had it. We got centermen to come to church because we was giving away, we give away a few guns, and we had, we was shooting some guns and things. And, we didn't have a big budget. I went to Brother Thomas and I asked him for $200, I believe it was, to do the 1 day, when we did the 1 day. Yeah. And he said, "You don't have the money," in my bad Brother Thomas voice. "You don't have the money to do that big thing." I said, "Brother Thomas, give me $500. I said, $500 from the church. "You can't do it with that." I said, "That's all I'm asking for." Because I knew there was things that the church was doing, and I knew I didn't want to make it a burden on the church. And the Lord blessed us with that $500, and we put it together. And I think we figured it up after the first year. We had about $7,000, I think.
Wow.
In our men of faith the first year, and but with it's through donations and through people donating food, people donating prizes and stuff.
Yeah.
We was able to do it, and this year will be our 15th year, counting the first 2 years at Spalding. But this will be our 15th year for Men of Faith, and the first year we had it, our youth leader, his dad had not been to church in years, and he come on Saturday morning to eat breakfast with us, and I said, Don, are you going to stay for church? And he said, I think I will. He said, I think I will, and got saved that day.
Yeah.
And still goes to church today. So we've had people get saved. We've had people that's really needed help, with situations in their life, and they've come, and the Lord's really blessed us. We've had some of the greatest preaching.
Yeah.
Not because I've put it on, because I've had help. I don't do it. I have a board that helps me, and Brother Ryan is on my board, and I have a couple other guys, Brother Kelly Wilson and Brother Ted Brock, and I have guys that help me to put this together, but the Lord has blessed us for 15 years now, and Lord willing, September the 12th and 13th, it'll be our 15th year, and we'll have Brother David Webb will be preaching on Friday night, and then Brother Aaron Brock will be preaching on Saturday. And it's at the Southern Ohio campground. Most everybody knows the old Southern Ohio campground.
Yep.
When we was looking for a place, Brother Gary Kaufman just happened to be with us. And he said, I'll call Brother Setzer. He said, he'll let you use he said, I can get you the campground. And we rented a campground from Brother Setzer, and we have been ever since. And Brother Setzer has been wonderful to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, I really didn't know Brother Setzer. Never had really had a conversation with him until that first year at Men of Faith. I ate breakfast with him, and I actually went home. I told this at Men of Faith one year, and everybody got a laugh out of it. Brother Setzer was sitting there. I said, I really thought Brother Setzer was a jerk because I never had talked to him.
Yeah.
And but I said I ate breakfast with him, and I said after I ate breakfast with him and talked to him, I said I come away with a whole different outlook on him. And that's one thing I love about Men of Faith. We've built friendships from there. Mm-hmm. Brother Jedediah Henson, pastors in Indiana, one of my best friends in this world. We met at Men of Faith. I've went on vacation with Brother Jed. We've done things together,
right.
And it's all because we met at Men of Faith. And that was Brother Ryan already said it, our men are under attack. They have been for some time. And the church needs strong men. Yeah. The church needs strong men. And I was fortunate enough that I had a dad that was a great example. Yeah. I had a dad that was sound and he prayed and he was a great example to me. And but unfortunately there's men now and guys that's coming up that don't have that example.
No, they don't.
Right. And Men of Faith is a way I've found out in 15 years that everybody comes and everybody thinks nobody is facing what I'm facing. Mm-hmm. But in 15 years, I found out that everybody goes through the same battles. We're all facing the same. Right. Men are men. And I've watched year after year, I've watched guys come, and you can look on some of their faces when they come. I'm not going to let my guard down. And after the preaching's done, I've watched them in that altar, and I've watched guys that normally wouldn't pray with each other. Let's pray with each other. Yeah. I've watched churches, I've watched guys that may believe one thing, a whole different belief. We've had guys, we don't say a certain denomination can come, or you have to be saved to come. We want anybody that can to come.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're all men and we all need help. And we set ground rules, and I know this is a long introduction. I know you probably got questions, but
go ahead.
We set ground rules for a reason. Like our main rule is, we have awesome prizes. The Lord's blessed us with funds to be able to buy prizes. Since then, we've had a couple. We've had some sponsors that's helped us. And that helps. We still don't. It's not completely sponsored as of this. As of today, I think we have about. We may have about. I don't know, a couple $1,000 in the bank to run a $10,000 camp, and I'm hoping that old 47 gets those groceries down some, and because 46 had them up,
Yeah.
and I'm so we can afford a little bit more, but we've never. It's funny. Last year we run out of gravy. First time we ever ran out of anything, and I'll put all the blame on myself, and that was because I didn't. My gravy maker couldn't make it last year, and I tried to tackle it on my own, and that was my fault. It won't happen again, I guarantee you. But the Lord's always blessed us, but we put rules on it. We have all these nice prizes and stuff, but in order to be in the drawing, you have to attend both services.
Yeah.
And the reason we do that is because if there's somebody gets their sinner friend, or we've had parents that's come that wasn't saved, if they come, I want them to have to sit at least and listen to two preachers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they sit and listen to two preachers, that's two chances they have to turn their life over to the Lord. And in order to be that example, that's where you have to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year was the first year I got to attend, and it was amazing. It's completely different, when you're in a church setting, and it's male and female and all that. The worship is very, very different, and a lot of times in church you'll see the women want to worship before the men. They're mostly the more free will, ready to get in. But at Men of Faith, it's like completely opposite. I mean, obviously the women aren't there, but there's no hesitancy to get in and worship from the first song, And you do a great job with having things lined up, singers who are ready to get in and worship. Brother Andy and Brother Jacob Bishop started us off last year, and they, from the first song, they were ready to go. They didn't pick a song that was like, I hate to say it, it was slow and kind of draggy, but they kicked it up 100 miles an hour to go, and the men responded to that. So my first question is, what is it like to carry a burden for this type of ministry that is more out of the norm? Because we've said it, that men are put on the back burner. The back burner. What part of that was so intense that you thought, well, I might be able to do something with this?
Well, I guess I looked at it from the viewpoint of we didn't have anything,
Mm-hmm.
and when you get saved, it's a common misconception that once you get saved, you can't have any kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just get saved, and that's when life ends. Well, that's the farthest from the truth.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me they said, well, I haven't been to Men of Faith because I'm not into hunting. I haven't hunted in six years.
I'm not a hunter, but I love Men of Faith.
It's not
Same.
a hunt. It's not a hunting thing.
Right.
We have skeet shooting. We
Right.
shoot clay pigeons. We have a 22 shoot. We have, but we also have a basketball throw, a 3-point game, cornhole. I'm going to have the guys from Brother Matt Jones' church that come every year. I watched them walk into their van last year, and they had a golf game. And I said, where'd you guys get a golf game? And he was like, we brought it with us. And I said, I never thought about that. And he was like, yeah, that'd be great, So I'm going to have a golf game this year, for them. I'm going to make sure, it's just a good way of fellowship. And it's hard. I'm not going to tell anybody that doing this is easy, because it's not. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of sleepless nights, especially when it gets August, to September. I don't. So after Men of Faith, from September to November, I don't do anything with Men of Faith.
Right.
But Black Friday started my Men of Faith. I've right now, as I talk on this podcast, I have a load of tools and prizes sitting in my living room that my wife wanted me to load in my Bronco and bring with me and get put in my shed, but I just didn't get a chance to load them. So that will be one day this week. I will be. But we start buying prizes, because you can buy more. I think I'm just off the top of my head, I think I saved like $1,600.
Yeah. Wow.
At Home Depot, buying tools and stuff to give away. And it's not all in the prizes. I realize that, but we do charge a fee for Men of Faith. We charge a fee, and by charging that fee, I want to make sure, we used to just have enough prizes, like maybe ever so many people may get a prize or whatever when we did it out here, and it was free at Spalding, the one day. So if we have to charge a fee and that covers food, that covers if you want to stay on the campground, that covers breakfast, lunch, and dinner, dinner on Friday night, breakfast Saturday morning, and then lunch Saturday morning. And, but I also want everybody to leave away with something, take home with them. And, we've, it's very nerve-wracking sometimes, though. Mm-hmm. When your funds get low, it's like running your household. When your funds get low and you got bills due, you worry.
Yeah.
And when your funds get low running a meeting, if you've ever run a youth camp or you've ever run a camp meeting or anything else, when your funds get low, you worry.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this by no means to build myself up, because other people have done the same for their things, but there's been a lot of groceries. There's been a lot of prizes that I've threw in our buggy when we've been to store.
Yeah.
And my wife had asked me, why are you buying that for? I'm like, don't worry about it. And she'll know, it's Men of Faith, you know, and I'm thankful for a wife, that is, on board with it. She's team Men of Faith until we have a dinner or something other. And then, she's helping clean up, we have a fundraiser, and then she'll say, where's your guys at? I'm not a man. so, there is a point that she jumps off board, but she's always been there, to help. And we have, others that are always willing to help. And I'm thankful for that.
See, I think the one thing too is when you talk about the stress, and obviously, I help you set on the board. I've had the privilege of doing it. I think I'm working on next year will be my third year, as time flies by. And I know the other things that I think that you can kind of throw into that too is, you said that it's not denominational, and we're Pentecostal, we're holiness. And when we do this, we run a Pentecostal service. We believe in the power of the Holy Ghost. We believe in the Lord moving. And we have tremendous preachers. The lineup this year is, Brother Aaron Brock is one of my favorite people in this world. And he's going to challenge. And I know Brother John Brock preached a couple years back. And Brother John Brock preached probably one of the most challenging messages that I've heard in a long time for men. But when you're not denominational, and when we say that, it's not that we don't have that Pentecostal background. We're not just going to one group of people. like you said, we're opening it up to everybody. But the other grand scheme of that is you do have the different interests. You do have. I was never raised a hunter. You know, my grandpa, he used to hunt rabbit and squirrel on Thanksgiving. And he always told this story. He said one day he went out in the woods just like he did all the other years, and it was cold. It was one of those times where it snowed early, and he got out there, didn't see a squirrel, didn't see a rabbit, and he said, "This is stupid. Why am I sitting out here when I can just go to the store and buy what I need, food that I'm going to eat?" And then that was it. He hung the gun up. And so it was never anything that was passed down, because typically hunting is passed down from generation to generation. So the other stresses of that is how do you maintain keeping the interest of everybody as well from the broad spectrum? And that's where the games come in, and the collaboration and the fellowship. The fellowship, I think, by far, is probably one of the greatest keys to the whole thing.
I've noticed that people will come in and they just intermingle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they don't. They'll be from Columbus. They'll be from Kentucky. They'll be from Indiana. They'll be from Ohio. They'll be from, you know, wherever. But they all just come in and they intermingle, you know. And before it's all said and done, you know, you watch people that never met each other before in their life, and they're holding conversations with each other like they've been friends their whole life.
Right.
And Brother Brian McKelvey. He's a traitor. He left us. He may listen to this.
Yeah.
But you know, Brother Brian McKelvey was at every Men of Faith. I think he was at every one from the very beginning until this past year, you know, when he went to down to be with Brother Jared. And Brother Brian told me one time, he said it would be great if we could see something where just all the churches in the Miami Valley all around could just get together. And Brother Ryan said it, you know, you can look at our preacher list and tell how we believe.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We've had top-notch preachers. We've had great men of God, and they've all come and preached. We've not told, we don't tell them what to preach.
right.
I don't call them with a theme. I don't call them and say, this is what we're dealing with this year. You know, they come prayed about what they want to preach on, and that's what they deliver. And we have great musicians. You know, and we've got great singers, and we've got, you know, and it's all, you know, people that sing in our churches, you know. But the thing is, everybody just comes and they bond.
Right.
And that's our goal, you know, is we need fellowship.
Yeah.
Right.
We need fellowship with one another.
I guess I still consider myself still fairly new to the area. You know, I've been in the Cincinnati area for probably, I think last year was 5 years that I've been in and around fellowshipping. And my mindset going into Men of Faith was, man, I'm not going to know anybody here. You know, I know a handful of preachers here, a handful of preachers there, but but when I got there, it was just so awesome to see men's guard down where they could be vulnerable. And you turn around and I've never ever met Brother Oscar Oakley, but I heard his messages and stuff, and he's kind of been a hero. My dad loves Brother Oscar Oakley. And you turn around and there's Brother Oscar Oakley sitting right next to you, and you know you're willing to start talking to him. Or we got to meet Brother Devin Birdsong, and the guys from Potomy there, and that was so awesome to see everybody get around together, get to talk, have fellowship, and you not feel like you didn't belong there. The inclusion, we have a standard. We believe that we need to hold a certain way. But you're welcome to be with us. You're welcome to fellowship with us. I think that is the so tremendous. And like my dad, he's kind of introverted. He kind of keeps to himself. But he felt right at home. He was getting in with the guys, talking and having a blast. And I love the community that's around that, because it pulls people out of their shell and makes them want to have a relationship with one another. I think that's so important that we need nowadays.
So the way I've always explained it to men that have never been, I've always explained it as that, I'll always ask them, did you ever get to go to youth camp? And a lot of them say, no, I wish I would have, but I never got to go. I said, this is your chance.
Yeah.
It's a grown man's youth
Absolutely.
camp. Guys will play cornhole until 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't always stay up for all of it. I'll be the first one to tell you. When I was younger, I would stay up, but it takes us, we come in Thursday evening and start setting up, and it takes us up until mid-afternoon to get everything done. And Free Gospel Bible Institute has been amazing to send us a group of guys every year to help us. That really helps. Friday morning, they're usually there Friday morning. This past year was the first year they wasn't, but we usually get up. The campground is in Wilmington, so we usually head to Xenia to Tudor's Biscuit World. And we eat breakfast at Tudor's Biscuit World. And I tell them boys every year, get you a good breakfast because we're going to be working all day. And we do. We eat good. Yeah. And we go, we kind of disband from Tudor's. Some of us go to Walmart to get things that we may be missing, or the local grocery store there at Kroger's or wherever to get things. But we all just take things and go different directions.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. I've left there many a year, probably 2 or 3 years, and after we pack everything up, because unpacking, we pack a trailer. It's a 12 by 6 trailer. We pack it as tight as you can pack it, and then we get to the campground and we unpack a 12 by 6 trailer. Yeah. And then we have to pack it back up again. So it's a little bit lighter going home. You don't have as many prizes going home, but it's still a lot of work. And I'll leave there, barely moving, back hurting, knees hurting, feet hurting, and this year was the first year I had my Bronco, and I took the tops off. And I rode home. It was nice outside. I didn't have the tops off. And when I got home, I was so tired I couldn't hardly lift my arms. And my wife was like, "Why didn't you take the tops off this thing for, knowing you'd be wore out?"
Yeah.
But I started saying I'll leave there and I'll say I'm not doing this no more. I'm just going to let somebody else do it, or I just don't know if I could do it again. And I'll no more than get down the road and my phone will start chiming, and I'll look, Brother Jason, I appreciate it. I got what I needed. I've had people call me, and tell me, you don't know how bad I needed what I heard from Men of Faith. And, I hear that and I say, you know what, maybe I can do it again.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put this on again. And, until the Lord, lifts that burden off, and it's actually growing. Like Brother Ryan said, where it's growing, and we're expanding off of it also.
Right.
Last year, a few years ago, we had it a couple times for our age limit starts at 15 for Men of Faith, and a lot of guys, their younger boys wanted to come, and the reason we do that is, for one, we don't want the preachers to feel any pressure, with younger kids there. They won't be able to address something.
Yeah.
When you're with a mixed crowd, you can't always address things. When you're with a crowd of men, you can.
Right.
Right.
And we want them to have their liberty to be able to talk to what the Lord has laid on their heart to talk to us about.
Right.
And so what we've done is we've started a junior Men of Faith. Yeah. It's just a one-day thing. We started it here at Spalding. It's a church. And I've got some great young guys that's helping me with that, and Brother Sean, Brother I always have to watch myself because we have a nickname for him. We call him Big Tater. Brother Ethan Brock.
Little Ted Brock.
Yeah, Brother Ethan is great to help us. You know, he's helping out, and you know, we're going to be working on that. You know, getting that ready for the spring.
Yeah.
And then we have, you know, we'll have junior men of faith, and then we'll have that's from 15 down. You know, 14 down, I guess, you know. So we're just trying our best to be a help, trying our best to build this kingdom.
The one thing that I think is great is when you're talking about this, you said you started at Spalding, which is, you know, that's where we're sitting at now as we're doing this interview, and it was a one-day deal. And I think my dad brought Brother Ralph Lowry even because we were
the second year
because we were in revival with Brother Ralph, and I know that he really enjoyed it, and that was when Brother George Davis Jr. was there. Yeah. But now you take it, you're at 15 years in, and if you've not been in this area where we're at, the Miami Valley is blessed with tremendous churches.
Yeah.
I mean, you can in our area where we're at alone, I think even from where I live, within a 30, let's say 45-minute radius, I can be at church. I think the only night that I don't know a church having a service is on Mondays. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I'm talking good churches that I would promote to anybody if they're looking for a good home church. You know, and the sad part about that is a lot of times we don't see all that fellowship. And now we're 15 years in, you're seeing a diverse group of people coming in, and it's not just in this area. It's, as you said, Columbus, Indiana, and all this. But the other thing that I think speaks to the tremendous success is you talked about the junior men of faith, but there's also other events that you guys are starting to do, the knife swaps. I think you have one actually posted on Facebook for January the 10th.
Yeah, that's actually not a Men of Faith event. We are going to set up a table there for registration. That's Brother Brandon James at Dryden Road, the youth leader at Dryden Road, is doing this. It's with Brother Zach Kaufman is going to be speaking at it, but they're going to have barbecue and knife swap and you know, so you can sell knives, trade knives, just show your knives off if you want to.
Yeah.
And you know, but that's what I love about Men of Faith, that you watch things branch off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I'm not saying that Brother Brandon is doing this because of Men of Faith in no way, shape, or form.
Right.
You know, and I talked to him before we come, and I told him, I said, I'm going to mention your knife, you know, your knife swap and stuff, you know, but I think I've watched, since we've done it, I've watched other churches that's went back home and their men has started doing things together. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm not taking credit for anything. I'm just glad to see that. You know, you need fellowship outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll go back to the Brother Setzer story. I never seen Brother Setzer nowhere but, you know, running a youth camp. In church with him a couple times, you know, when I was a teenager. I just never had been around him. But when I sat down and talked to him, and just talked to him man to man,
Yeah.
not about what's your core belief on this. Just talk,
Right.
Normal talk. I found out that there's a lot of things that we had in common.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a lot of times we just had a good, a dear elder here at the church. He was our church neighbor. He lived right here behind the church here. He just passed away not too long ago. And for years, Brother Lamar would come over for like cookouts and things like that. I never talked to him. I seen him, but I never talked to him. But a couple of years ago, he was in the fellowship hall, and I sat down at the table and talked to him, and he began to tell me about how he was a Dayton cop back in the day when you had to walk the beat.
Yeah.
And he started telling me stories, and I thought, man, I was just eating those stories up, and I thought, I wished I'd have took time to sit and talk.
Yeah.
And I've got a chance to be friends with Brother Matt Jones, which is a gem of a man. If you've never talked to Matt Jones, one of the greatest guys that I've ever come in contact with, just a gem. I couldn't brag on him enough. But man of faith, I got to be friends with him.
Right.
Got to know him, and I, that's what we need to build those relationships.
Yeah.
Because whether you realize it or not, one day you will need somebody.
Yeah.
And when we've had sickness hit, when things have happened and we've needed prayer and we've put it out, when I could get on my phone and text my friends, that's when you're the most thankful that you have those people, those men that that will take time out and pray.
Right.
I was thinking when you said that you may not have been the inspiration for Brother Brandon James, but I was thinking, I think it's okay to say that maybe you were. I think we need that outlet to where we can see that things are possible. And I'm not saying that that maybe that is him particularly, but that we as men need to inspire other men that they can do a ministry, they can carry on, what's already been set, they can make a difference. And because it's easy to, when God is calling you into something, it's easy to say, well, that's just myself. That's just something that I can see a need in, and God uses that in a manner to where we are able to do those things. We're able to step out, but to be able to hear a testimony from somebody and say, hey, it's possible. You can go out and put your best effort out, and God will bless it. And with that, I want to ask this question: when did you see that you could do Men of Faith and it be something that will last, something like a legacy that's going to continue?
So after we had it, the first 2 years here, the first year we had 25. The second year, the year that Brother Lowry and all them come, we had 40 guys come. We had Men of Faith at the campground the first year. We had, I think it was like 65 maybe. And last year we had, I think it was right at 115, 120. Mm-hmm. So we've gradually watched it grow. And I failed to mention this. One thing we have done that has helped us keep it afloat, we try our best to keep our fees as cheap as we can.
Right.
Because I realize if a man has, 2 sons, the price we charge for fees does not cover the food, prizes, rental, campground rental. It don't cover. And I've had people say, well, you need to raise the fees up. But I also know people are struggling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want anybody. We've never, we've had people that's called and said, I'd love to come, but I'm just going through a hard time. And we've told them, come on.
Yeah.
Don't stay home because you're having a hard time. Come on. Mm-hmm. We'd rather you come and let the Lord help you. This ain't a business for us at all. We don't try to make, see, how much we can keep getting our bank account. It's not a business. We're trying to, I almost look at it like a mission.
Yeah.
And, but the one thing we've learned is we can sell shirts. Yep. We can sell hats, and we try our best to make good quality product, good quality shirts. I try to get good printed shirts, and we've been so fortunate with our shirts. A local Springboro printing shop, 937 Inc. Has really been great to work with us. It's kind of funny how it worked out. My cousin Phil, he worked with the owner's wife, and the owner's husband. I went to school with his sister. So we both had connections, kind of, and they've just been awesome to work with. I could call them and say, hey, like last year I called them, I said, could you make me a camo logo for my shirt? could you make my lion and everything camo on? You know, we have a lion with a shield and everything, and they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
You know, they always do. And but we sell shirts, we sell hats, and you know we don't mark them up so high. I mean, go to the mall and buy a hat. You know,
right?
I mean, hats are outrageous. I have spent a small fortune myself in lids at the mall.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that the last few times I've went in there, I've walked out without a hat because I cannot put myself to paying $38 for a cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on sale.
Right. And you know, anywhere from, you get one on a markdown, if you're lucky, on markdown for $25. And that used to be like, you know, you used to be able to get them for like $5 and $10, $20, you know, on markdown. You know, now it's like not even a fitted hat, $25.
Right.
And but you know, we try to sell our hats reasonably. We sell our shirts reasonably, and you know, we make enough on it that helps cover what the camp fees don't.
Right.
You know, and we've had great people to work with. Brother Larry Williams made our hats for us this year, leather patch hats.
Yep.
Done an outstanding job. Just does great work.
They were like the first thing to go. I wanted one.
Oh, they was gone. They was gone. We sold completely out of the hats. I've got a new sleeve of them in my office at home. You know, that we ordered some more of them.
Yeah.
But you know, we've mugs. You know, we've sold everything. We have flash drives that has all the sermons on it.
Right.
You know, and it's not that, like I said, you know, we're not trying to make money on it to like a business, but we're trying our best to keep everything as low as we can.
Yeah.
Donations helps that.
Yeah.
You know, people that donate money or donate food or donate prizes. You know, we've had churches that's donated prizes. You know, I don't know if they won't mention, so I won't mention churches' names, but we had a church that was good for, you know, has been good for a few years. It's donated, you know, $300, $400, $500 worth of prizes.
Wow.
And you know, that kind of stuff really it helps further it.
Right.
You know, and you know, I anybody that knows me, I couldn't sell an Eskimo a coat.
Yeah.
I've never made, I never got to ride the limo in school from selling candy bars.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Right.
You know, matter of fact, most of the time when I brought a bag of candy bars home, my household, my mom and my dad ended up buying the majority of them. You know, I'm not one to go and ask, you know, will you please? Will you donate? You know,
Right.
I've not done that. We've depended on God, and He's always provided. You know, and I believe as long as we stay true to what we're supposed to be doing, I believe He'll continue on doing that.
A wise man, Brother Eugene Baker, told me one time when we were doing missions for the church and helping with that, and he said probably one of the biggest things that I've ever taken to heart as a young minister and working in missions or some type of outreach. He said, you can save and save and save to try to get something that you want. But the moment that it's a necessity for the work of God, that you'll have the funds for it. You know, and I think it's something that limits us as human beings as we see this gigantic need that has to be fit. And maybe this isn't just for this kind of quick point here. Maybe it's just not in ministry or even just for your home, but like when the Lord deals with you to do something, He's going to make a way that it's done. You know, He said you'll always find a right amount. You may not have surplus of it, but it'll be just exactly what you need to take care of it.
Last year we was in need of something, and we'd pretty much spent out as far as like, you know, for food and things like that. And somebody walked up to me and handed me enough money that we could buy what we needed.
Yeah.
You know, just there's things, when you run something, there's things you have to have.
Well, everything costs something.
Right. On top of the prizes.
Right.
On top of the, on top of the prizes, on top of the food, on top of the, we have to pay for the shirts. We have to pay for the hats. We have to, we have to pay for, the iPads we use, to help register people.
Right.
We have, I mean, it's just how, things you have to do in order. And I know, somebody may listen to this and say, do you really need an iPad? But what we've learned, we've learned is, we did the old paper way.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to say this nicely because I know when I get in a hurry, I mean, I'm pretty good most of the time, but when I get in a hurry, some people's handwriting is just not legible.
Right.
I'm one of them.
And it's, and it has come back to haunt us, because we've, when you want to reach out to them and stuff and you can't read. So we figured out that if you got a couple tablets, which I had bought my wife a tablet for Christmas, a new iPad for Christmas. So, you really don't need nothing fancy to put information in. So I took her old one, wiped it out, and we use it. And then we bought another one, and that way we have a couple, and then Brother Doug does so great on keeping inventory of all of our stuff.
Right.
So he can look on there and say, I've got this. If somebody comes and says, I need a 3XL in a long sleeve T-shirt. Do you have it in the orange? Doug can look on his thing. I have it. I'll get it right for you, and he'll turn around and get it instead of just digging through a tub. And I will say this too, on the merchandise, we make sure we have something for everybody.
Yeah,
I've been places because I'm a big guy. I always look out for the big guy.
Yeah.
So we always make sure we have sizes for everybody. So.
And we're getting up to the 50-minute mark here, but what is the dream for Men of Faith? Is it just at the campground, or is there something bigger that you would like to see?
So my dream for Men of Faith is to see it keep growing. And when I'm dead and gone, if the Lord still lets us, if He hasn't come, for us to keep on carrying on.
Yeah.
For somebody to pick it up and run with it, when that we can carry this on, that we can strengthen our bond with each other.
Yeah.
That we can get junior Men of Faith at the same level as the Men of Faith, where we have to go rent the campground for junior Men of Faith.
Yeah.
I mean, for these boys, so they can have what we have, stay over one night, and we're not in no way, shape, or form going to give them boys guns, maybe some pellet guns, but that we can give them more than just a one day Men of Faith, and I think it's good. A lot of these boys that get to come, their dads bring them. Mm-hmm. And it's an opportunity for them to do something with their dads.
Right.
For their dads to take that special time to pray with them.
Yeah.
Just everything. And that's I would give anything. My dad's been dead since he left in 96. And I would give anything if my dad was alive.
Yeah.
That I could bring him. My Uncle Silas, he's one of my main workers, and I tell him every year, you're as close to me getting to bring my dad.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Last year I got to bring my son-in-law for the first year.
Yeah.
And so I was excited about that. I just want to see it flourish.
Yeah, it was a wonderful thing to be able to take my boys to junior Men of Faith this year. Looking forward to next year. I don't know how many of those wooden pocket knives I glued together with those young men.
Pretty sure he lost his fingerprint on his thumb.
Well, I know I did because Brother Larry Williams helped print out all those and showed me how to build it, and he was pretty adamant to say it doesn't take a whole lot of glue. And he's not wrong. It really doesn't. The problem is not using a whole lot of the glue. It's the glue dripping down and getting on the fingers and, all that. But it was fun to see. This year I wasn't able to be at Men of Faith because I had some things at the church and in some family things, and we had some death. It kind of was like the perfect storm, unfortunately. And so we wasn't able to be there. But it definitely is a tremendous thing to be a part. And it has brought a lot of fellowship. It has grown. And with all that. So with all that being said, and I know we're getting kind of lengthy here, but when this comes out, it'll be the 30th. And so we've got, one more day in December, and then you go into the new year. So I know that you can start registering for Men of Faith at the first of the year. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to have... Well, we have early registration. So early registration is $65. I should have wrote all this down. I wrote some things down, but I believe I'm almost 90% sure it's $65. $65 for early registration. And it will be, I think it's changed from last year anyway, because I think it was going to be $65 for early, and it's going to be $85 for after June the 1st. So we can do January 1st to June 1st as early registration, $65 to register early. The way we do our prizes, we draw names. So for an incentive for people to register early, because it helps us, in order to get early registrations, we give away a $500 gift card for Cabela's. So anybody that registers early from January 1st to June 1st, their names also go into a drawing for the $500 Cabela's gift card. And that way, the early registration money, when people register early, it helps us to be able to have funds to, to buy whatever they need. So our website is www.themenoffaith.org. And if you have any questions about it whatsoever, I've always got my cell phone on. I'm always available. If something happened I didn't answer, if you leave me a message, I'll return your call. But it's my phone number is 937-623-4853. And I'm glad to answer questions. And we just, I appreciate, and I do want to say, I know we're getting lengthy, as Brother Ryan said, but I do appreciate these guys doing these podcasts. And there is three of us sitting here. One of them has not said anything because he don't really have nothing to say, because I've invited Brother Jonathan Mitchell over and over and over to Men of Faith, but I don't know if he was too busy getting ready for Whitewater ladies retreat or but hopefully he gets convicted and comes this year.
Yeah.
I was going to say, does the web for pre-registration, you can do all that on the website?
You can do it all online. Online.
Okay.
And if something happens, I know there's some people that may listen to this and they may say, I don't like to do things online. If you call me, I'll be more than glad to mail you a registration. I'll email you a registration, to print off however you need to do it.
You can can't you print off a registration on that website?
You may be able to.
You used to be able to.
Yeah, you probably can. I do not take care of our webpage, if you can't tell. Brother Stephen Dale does that for us, and but we do. I had to mess with Brother Jonathan. I'm sorry.
I do have a question though. I know we're getting lengthy. For Junior Men of Faith, so I have a 5-year-old boy. Is that so? I know you said it's 14 and under for Junior Men of Faith, correct? Did I get that right? Does that go all the way? So is there a starting age or? Okay.
We had, if your son is in diapers,
yeah,
then I mean, when I say diapers, I mean like a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to have, we have a big bounce house, but we also have a little bounce house that we keep for the little kids. The crafts we make. Brother Ryan was talking about gluing knives together, wooden knives. Brother Larry Williams cut them out with his laser cutter for us.
Yeah.
And there was nothing sharp about them.
And is there a fee for Junior Men of Faith?
Junior Men of Faith, I think it was like $25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We keep it real. The Junior Men of Faith, that just helps.
Because it's only a day, right?
It's a day. We order pizza. We buy chips.
They also got a shirt.
Yeah, and that come with a shirt.
And
also.
they get there's a door prize too. I mean, they come in and get a prize too. So
we had a door prize.
a lot of cool. I mean, there was some stuff there I wanted to leave home with.
Yeah.
Some of those Nerf guns, I took them home quick.
So I just want to say I appreciate the vision because and they said it at the beginning that the lack of focus on men has we've been under attack. The masculinity and men in general and being the leaders of their families has been under attack. So I really do appreciate the vision that you guys have put forth and the effort and all that and the dedication. So I appreciate you, Brother Jason. I know.
Hey, well, we appreciate you too, Brother Jonathan. And
hopefully I become a member.
Brother Jason, I know you have a Facebook page as well. Could you give us that and then the dates one more time for Men of Faith, please?
Yeah, the Facebook page is The Men of Faith. And that's you'll see on our logo, you'll see there's a blue lion. I don't think there's any other The Men of Faith, but just in case, there's a blue shield with a lion on it. And it has all of our dates. We keep that up to date with all of our dates of things that we're having. We do have fundraisers from time to time, dinners and such. And we have, every once in a while, we'll have a breakfast or something that we'll put on there. So, you can go to that, or you can go to the webpage at The Men of Faith, www.themenoffaith.org.
So I hope everybody has enjoyed this episode. I hope you got enough information from Men of Faith. I really encourage you to go. I believe you'll have a great time. I certainly did, and everybody that I was with had an absolute blast. And so this is coming from us. This is Pulpit to the Pew with Sean Brentfield. Let us know what you think about this episode. If you want to hear more interviews, people you might want to hear from, you can email me at pulpittothepew@gmail.com. And thanks for listening, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.